Welcome to another episode of Tuned In with J. Cole. I'm your host, J. Cole. As always with me, I got my Tune Squad. I got Ashley and Caleb with me.
Good morning.
How y'all doing? I know, right?
Good morning.
Merry New Year. All that good stuff.
All the things.
So basically, this episode is about dating and relationships, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we touching today. We I don't think we've touched that yet on this podcast, which is kind of fun. So, we'll get into those things. The things about dating and how it's changed and all that fun stuff, because we live in a different time where dating is not like it has been. Obviously, as time changes, dating changes, people change, so situations change. So basically, let's start with Ashley. Let's talk about the first dating experience. And since we started our first, let's talk about our beginning, our origins of dating.
My first dating experience. My first boyfriend I had just graduated high school. He was still a senior in high school. So that made for a very interesting situation to begin with. But when we first met each other, I don't know, there was just like this crazy chemistry and we were like inseparable from there. But it was a very interesting part of my life on and off for 5 years.
Damn, that's a long time for your first dating experience.
Yeah.
Most dating experiences in the beginning stages don't last that long. It's like, because you're just trying to figure it out.
He got my initials tattooed on his chest.
This is wild.
In your first?
Yeah.
They 18. Yeah.
He was 18, I was 19.
I
yeah.
can see that. I
Okay,
mean,
so that was the first time you really dated?
ARS.
So you didn't...
Like, he got all three of them?
ARS right here.
Oh.
Is it still there, though?
I think it took about 20 plus years for it to get covered up, but it finally got covered up.
Yeah, she said, you got to cut that up.
Somebody...
You got to cover that up.
Because you got to... What do you say when somebody see that?
He told me there were a lot of women in Houston who I would never meet that hated my guts because he would never get those initials covered up.
Damn. I'm sorry.
Interesting.
It's not my monkey or my circus.
Yeah, it was your circus. It was definitely.
It was a circus for 5 years. A damn
For 5
circus.
years,
It's a
it was
traveling
your
circus.
circus, yes.
5 years. That's a long
Dang,
time.
not the traveling circus.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
no?
just saying it was. That's a long time.
Okay, Caleb, we're going to move on from me. Next.
Me?
Yes, Caleb, what's you? I want the heat off of me. What was your first dating experience?
Oh.
That sounded like a headache.
Do we need to come back? Do you need some time?
You got to think.
Okay, Jessica.
It's nothing to think about, man.
It sounds very.
I
It
got
sounds.
to remember. I'm trying to go to
How do
first.
you don't remember?
Because it's like, you want first or you want like the first one.
Whatever you want to share.
It's a safe place.
Sure. Going on the internet.
I didn't say that was a safe place.
But I mean,
but,
it's.
But yeah, I mean, like and subscribe to Tune In with J. Cole if you want to, just in case, just for further record. I mean, the internet is a safe place over here. We're safe over here. Like and subscribe.
You gotta come back. 'Cause I gotta put this together.
I'm sure you do. Well, my first dating experience was pretty cool because I remember I was 14 or 15. And I'm not going to say the young lady's name, but I still know. I mean, it was a dating experience. You asked about it. There it was. It was,
I'm sorry, no judgment. My bad. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I can meet. I don't care if I'm judged or not. I'm just telling you my life, my story.
It's a safe space.
But safe place. But I was about 14, 15 when I really started really dating. Because when you're in middle school and high school, middle school, elementary, you have little girlfriends. That it's not really dating. That's my girlfriend
That's
for like
puppy love.
2 days and then it's not happening. Like that's the type of back then when you was outside. You know what I'm saying? Like no, that's not real. I'm talking about like for real dating, like trying to really do something. But I was 14, 15. It was cool. It was a cool experience. It wasn't like it wasn't nothing to yell and scream about because you're just learning. About the opposite sex and what you like about them and what, you know what I'm saying, or not the opposite sex, maybe the same sex, but that's, to each his own. But for me, like, when it was like dating girls, like I was just, just finding out, oh man, I like her, and it's like you try to be nice to her or you try to get her attention, and that was just things I did. And it wasn't even a girl that I went to the same school in. She went to a whole nother school. So it was like, when we met, it was just organic because we was out and about. So my first dating experience was cool. It's cool. So,
You're fortunate.
Yeah, I guess for listening to y'all, I guess I am.
Well, Caleb hasn't given his experience.
Yours sounded all lovey-dovey.
No,
like,
well,
we met we had feelings, and it was
I mean-
first, and yours was just like, oh, we just met.
But
Mine
your
was
experience is your
oh,
experience.
Hey, cool. You want to go to the movies? And
It was that simple.
That was it. Like, hey, I want to go to the movies. You want to go to the movies?
If that didn't last long, it was like, oh, hey, you want to go to the movies?
I mean,
yeah.
that was
That's
pretty much.
like I didn't get into dating or like trying to like I've had.
Here's a news flash, bro. That was
Consistent.
dating in teenage years. You
Yeah.
just went to the movies. You didn't
Yeah,
because you
it
couldn't
wasn't
go
no
nowhere else.
date.
Like you
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
you couldn't afford to
Well,
go.
according to
nowhere.
Ashley, they was getting tattoos and.
Well, no.
That's what she was saying.
Hold on.
Right.
Not
So
you.
wait.
We got you.
Wait. So the tattoo wasn't even a professional tattoo. It was one that was done
Oh,
in the
you did
locker
it?
room.
So
No,
it was a
they did
prison
it.
tat?
They did it in the locker room. He played football.
So his homeboys was in on this foolishness.
They just wanted
listen.
to tattoo up. They didn't care what was on there. They could have got the initials and names wrong. They just wanted to do
He
something.
just didn't want to move it.
Right.
Listen,
It's crazy, but yeah, like it was cool, I guess. Like,
No, I'm just saying,
wasn't
like-
it wasn't no. I
Nothing to
never
write
was.
home about.
Yeah, it wasn't no like consistency in my first dating life.
I mean, outside of Ashley, because she was a little older than when we started. I think boys start faster than girls for the most part. So, like, it's never going to be consistency for
At
us.
all.
Because, like, you dating a girl, you like her, but you're going to see another girl you like tomorrow. And that's just the way you was
Or
as
at
a
the
kid.
movies.
Because you look, yeah, right.
wait, while you
look
were on the date with the other girl.
looking at another girl. I mean,
She was looking too. Everybody fishing.
at that age, when you're
Yeah,
younger,
at
it's
that
different.
age, it's
Because
like-
you go to the movies at the time, it wasn't really no places like Dave and Buster's back
Skating
then.
rink.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean,
You go
I
skating,
was
you go
late to the
movies.
dating game, so you know.
Yeah, but like it wasn't no places like that. Like maybe a mini golf place here or there, like, but it wasn't like it is now. You know what I'm saying? They have options to go on like teenage friendly dates if they wanted to, versus our time where it's like y'all go to the movies and y'all still supervise, or y'all go to the skating ring and y'all still supervise.
Oh, yeah,
It
it
ain't
was
just,
always
it ain't,
supervision.
you know what I'm saying? It ain't the same, but I guess that's just
You
showing
wanna
you
go
how
ride
fast
bikes?
time changed.
Yeah, we can go
yeah,
ride
we go
bikes.
ride a bike.
Like-
You know what I'm saying? That was it, because you couldn't do nothing else. You know what I'm saying? But
I bought you some candy.
yeah, the small things. You know what I'm saying? Small things. So
So yeah.
so on that note, since you started at the age you started at, what advice would you give 19-year-old Ashley then?
Now from
Now,
45
so if you
almost
had to time
46 year old
travel, if you had to time travel and you went back and you said, "Sit down, let's have a talk," and you
Oh
had about 5 minutes, what would you say to her?
The first thing that I would say to her is you are definitely worthy of the things that you want and desire. The second thing I would say to her is I would tell her to date differently. And what I mean by that is the way that I date now
Yeah.
is I'm collecting data. I'm going to go out with you. I'm going to collect data. I'm going to see, okay, do we vibe on this level? Let's have conversation. Let's see, where that ranks on whatever. And then at that point, I could say, I got enough data to say, okay, yeah, let's go on another date. Or this ain't it.
Okay.
Next.
I got a question.
Yes.
Do you think 19-year-old Ashley's gonna listen to you say that?
I mean, maybe not, but at least I now have the advice to give her because I didn't have
But why
anything
would you
then.
wait to tell 19-year-old Ashley? Why would you tell a 16-year-old Ashley?
Well, because he asked me
He
about.
asked about the
I
one
didn't
that was
start.
dating.
I didn't start
Yeah.
dating until 19.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So,
I'm asking her about the situation. Somebody
So-
who's just starting
That's-
dating.
well, no, hold on, because let me tell. In my household, my parents were like, "You're not dating anybody until you're 18 or 19." So I didn't. My dating experience didn't start until then. So
Yeah.
I couldn't tell 16-year-old Ashley anything because she wasn't
There you
allowed
go.
to date.
Okay.
Yeah.
You, sir.
Oh, you. Oh.
Oh, he has passed it on to you.
Oh, you want
wants
me
to
to
go.
go? You want me to go? Okay. I mean, I would sit Jesco down. Say, listen here, buddy. You gotta figure some shit out. And I mean that with all due respect to him, because he was so green back then. And I was so green back then because I grew up in a family that was in church 4 days a week. You know what I'm saying? So from up until I turned 18, when I was able to do what I wanted to do, I had the choice. At 18, you get a choice. Up until then, you have zero choice.
Right.
Like,
You have to do
you're
what your
doing
parents say
exactly
do.
what they tell you to do, or you in trouble.
True.
And I'm not playing. I wasn't playing that game with Pops. That was the one I wasn't trying to play with because he was boxing, and I wasn't trying to play with dude like that.
Oh yeah, no, we don't want that.
Yeah, but I would tell them to be patient. Don't be so anxious. Slow down when you're talking. You don't want to be a fast talker because some fast talkers get mistaken for scam artists. But in my instance, I was talk fast because I was nervous. You know what I'm saying? Because I was more shy as a kid. So when I would tell them, just be patient, slow down. You know what I'm saying? Take your time, because you at that time you have time. You know what I'm saying? It's not going.
Take your time. What's the rush?
Take your time. And I tell that kid, like, you gotta take your time, be patient, and just follow your instinct, follow your gut, because your gut won't lead you wrong. And there's a lot of situations where I was dating and I think that I didn't trust my gut. I didn't follow him. I didn't follow my insides. I was just like, I was on go. Like, it's opportunity, I'm going to take it. Because, you know what I'm saying, I may like this girl. I may like the way she approached me. I like the way she said what she said. You know what I'm saying? But I think I would tell them, just slow down, kid. You just got to be patient and make sure you're making a better decision on how you want to move so you happy. But that's just me. But in the meantime, in between time, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with you. And welcome back. We are back talking about dating here. Again, quick reminder, don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell your friends to like and subscribe. We appreciate all the support we get and all our Tune Squad fans out there. Tell more people. We're going to get more conversations going. Don't forget to comment about your dating experiences in the comments below. We'll check them out and maybe we'll respond, and maybe we'll use one of your ideas or questions for the next episode that we talk about relationships and dating. All right, moving on. Let's talk about early education in dating. What I mean by education, y'all, is just, who taught you about dating? What was the things you learned about dating? How did it affect you when you started to date? Not necessarily going back to ask that person, but who was the person that was the catalyst to show you, okay, this is how dating's supposed to be, or this is how they think dating should be? Who was that? Who was that person for you? We'll start with Caleb, because he be trying to escape questions. so who was that person for you when it comes to dating? Like, who told you your stories? Like,
Nobody.
You self-taught?
Yeah.
Okay, so you learned.
But I had to roll with every punch I caught.
Oh, so you learned on the fly.
On the fly.
It's a lot of people
still learning.
A lot of people are like that. A lot of people are like that.
It's like, all right, so my parents, like I told my sister, me and my sister grew up in two different households, but we had the same parents. For her, I guess 11 years of life, they were together, at least 10. But when I was born, what they say, makeup baby?
Oh, yeah. I got you.
They sent her to church camp. Because when you do the math, she was at camp. I was conceived.
Not you did the
I was
math.
born in March.
You did the math.
So I wasn't, and their anniversary was around the time she went to camp. So it was, I probably was definitely unexpected. 38 and 40? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was different. Like my dad, he worked, but he was out of town. He'd pop up, he'd be there. He did enough. So I knew, hey, I got a dad, he cool.
Right.
But as for the other stuff, like when I was 12, my mama said, hey, you're responsible for what you're responsible for. Go, hey.
See, like that's just I think that's a boy thing. Like that's not girls are treated. I hate to say this is the double standard, but girls are treated differently.
At 12, I'm just like, all right, well, I just figured it out, because obviously, so I listened to my partners, and even during high school, I'd be like, dang, y'all got girlfriends? That's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, okay. So how about you, Ash?
I don't. So my parents have been married for 53. This year make 54 years, right?
That's what I'm talking about.
And so
shout out to them.
Yes,
shout out to them.
them.
Shout out to love. I love to hear that.
And so, interestingly enough, I don't remember having a sit down conversation with my parents about dating. I don't. I remember being told you can't date until you get a certain age.
You didn't. That was your conversation.
That pretty much was the conversation. But then even when I got outside the house, it was still like, so how do I date? What does that look like for me? I don't know. You know. And so then at that point, like you said, it's you're listening to your friends. Who may or may not have had the same conversation didn't have the same conversation. And so I will say, as I got older, I would have certain conversations with my dad about my dating experiences. And then he would offer, insight at that point in time about, okay, X, Y, and Z.
I just figured out why it was so inconsistent.
What's that?
Because if all my partners had girlfriends and then they had friends and they be like, hey, you go out with us? So it's different girlfriend for their friend, for their partner. So it's not my fault, it's their fault.
That's an excuse. That's a terrible excuse. You just leached on. That's that. Just because you the
second-
just because you the back wheel on the top on the
Yeah.
Bronco don't make it no different. You still use the tire the same way.
Huh?
So you can't do
That was
that.
just
You
the
can't use
spare.
that as an excuse.
That was the spare.
It's still useful.
You don't use the spare the same way. It's the
Oh
backup.
my God. Oh, you wasn't so you was a backup, and that's what you rolling with.
Yes.
Okay.
Official side nigga.
All right, so I don't. So anyway, I didn't like most people in our generation. I don't think that I had a sit down conversation with my mom or my dad about dating, because I just don't think that they was in a place to have that conversation.
Right.
Is that a bad thing? No. I just think that, at the time that we were in, I think that they were worried. They were focused on more things. They weren't worried about dating. It was just, it wasn't even a be careful. It was because they never really worried about it. Because again, I spent a lot of my time in church my younger years, so it wasn't really a thing. I didn't care about that. Like, that wasn't my focus. But as you know what I'm saying, when puberty kick in, it kick in. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter who you are, it's gonna kick in. So it's like, oh,
Hormones.
why am
get
I
the
feeling this way about this
raging.
girl? You're right. You don't know what it is, but you feel something. And
You've been told just not to do.
right. You for your whole life they tell you not to do this, not to do that. You know what I'm saying? And then as a curious kid you are, it's like, maybe I want to do that shit. Like, I probably shouldn't, but maybe, I do want to try that. But I think that's just, I don't know if it's a culture thing, because I don't know who, in what cultures they do explain dating, or I think it's just a parental thing.
I think it's just something the movies made up.
That too. That too.
Well, then I think about like what conversations were our grandparents having with our parents, right? And I think about how my parents grew up, and it was like, it's do as I say, and don't ask any questions.
I don't think
The conversation was anything that was had.
It wasn't a conversation. It was a list of demands. Like, this is what you're gonna do. Like, you're not gonna do this. You're not able to do this, and that's that.
Yeah.
It changed now if we fast forward to now because of social media. Because if they want the information on dating, it's like you don't even have to have a conversation with your parents, because you can go Google it.
Well, yeah, at this
You
point, you
can
can ask
Google
ChatGPT.
Tell me about it.
Anything. And it's like to have a conversation about dating. If you don't know about a girl, if you don't know about sex, if you don't know about this, that, and the third, you can Google that shit. Like,
Yeah, but everything on the internet isn't accurate.
that's the problem. And
it's getting worse.
That's the problem.
Well,
It's
but-
not accurate, but it's also if they come across the wrong information and they use that versus what people consider traditional dating relationship and advice, they're gonna be led astray into something down the wrong road.
But you're led astray either way. Like, you're led astray if you get incorrect information, and you're led astray if you don't get any information.
Yeah, because then you just like Caleb, you just roll-
Figuring it out as you
go. And I think a lot of people do that because unfortunately you got a lot of single family households or single parent households, excuse me, and some of those parents got other stuff
Other
to
things
do,
going
other
on, yeah.
responsibilities. So not that they don't care about it, it's just they don't get the
It's not the
opportunity to
focus.
put the time in to explain them how dangerous that situation can be when it comes to sex and it comes to different people, manipulation, especially the heaviness of like even sex trafficking is a big thing. Yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't back when we were younger, but now that's something that's more prevalent. So that should be, I think that now is the time to be
almost like
talking
a
to your
career.
kids more than anything, because things like you got to tell them what to look out for. And in a sense, that's helping you with dating. It may not be direct advice, but it's helping you because it's telling you, hey, you have to avoid these things and look out for these things, because you have to be more self-aware these days. Because if you're not, you put yourself in a position where your kids or somebody you care about can be, not only abducted or led astray or, you know what I'm saying, abused, all those things factor in. And social media don't help because you hear all these horror stories, and sometimes it do scare people when they're not dating at all. But sometimes it opens up curiosity for some folks.
Yeah.
So it's a dangerous game. It's a dangerous game. So people that have kids, talk to your kids. If you don't already, I know that me and my son's mother, she's always talking to my son. Even he's only 10, he'll be 11 soon. So she's still talking to him now at the early age, and she's explaining to him. And she's very good with that because some parents don't talk to their kids at all.
True.
So if you're a parent, you choose the age you want to talk to your kid about it, but make them aware. Because if they got a tablet, iPad, whatever, they can
being
find
watched.
access. Don't let the internet teach your kid anything. On that note, we'll take another break. We'll be back.
Your beard deserves more than just soap. Give it clarity. Give it confidence. Pampering Sessions Prime Clarity Beard Shampoo, where luxury meets care. Gentle, refreshing, powerful. Tap shop now to elevate your grooming ritual.
And we're back from commercial. We're back from commercial. We thank you. We're still talking about relationships and dating. Again, just tune in with J. Cole. I hope you guys are liking, subscribing. Hope you're enjoying the content. We're going to hope to give you more and more content as we go along. So please support as we go along. Join the Tune Squad. Subscribe. Tell a friend. Tell a friend. All right. We're going into the deep dark waters of relationships. The mistakes.
Dark one.
Yeah, mistakes are the dark waters. Common dating mistakes. Now, at the age we've been in, we've obviously been able to be a part of the dating world for quite a while. We don't have to sit up here and yell ages out, but just for a while. And if we were all married, it'd be different, but we're all not. And we have been down that road of, dating mistakes. We'll start with you, Ash. Let's talk dating mistakes. Share a memorable mistake that you I won't say memorable, but one you would love to forget, I should say, and just talk about that for a second, and then what you learned from that. How did you grow from that?
So one of the mistakes I think would be not paying attention to people's actions, paying more attention to the words, and not really making sure their actions lined up with their words. And that's when I was young and naive, and I, would let the men tell me anything, and sometimes I would fall for it, and sometimes I wouldn't. But I think for me now is being more mindful of making sure actions and words line up with each other, and making sure that that person knows exactly what it is that they want.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a clear indication of relationship mistakes when you guys have different objectives and people spend the time not focusing on that because you are so into the person, so you lose.
You're so
lose
into
that line of
the.
sight.
I didn't have the butterflies or
Right,
the vibe
right.
or all of that stuff. Like at this point in my life, I feel like butterflies are trauma response, and that's if I feel butterflies, I feel like that's my trauma response connecting with your trauma response, and I don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it. So my question to you is like, that's a feel. So it's like, is that like your alert mechanism? Because are you
Yeah.
scared to embrace based off your
No,
past
I'm not
experience?
scared.
That's what I'm saying.
So
because,
no. So okay,
Like,
you
does that make you
and I
feel-
have been friends for a while, so
Absolutely.
you know my dating journey, and
Right.
I have been single for last October made 13 years.
Yeah.
So it's not that I'm afraid of dating. I definitely am not afraid of it. I want to get back out there. I want to try to date again. But I think for me, dating just looks a little different now, right? Like I am more intentional. I am paying attention. I'm having different conversations than I was before. Before it was, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? Like now it's, what's something that you have gone through that you have healed from? And like, what does it look like when a situation pops up? How do you handle it?
Right.
How do you handle stress? How do you handle the uncertainty of life? Like, how do you navigate through those things? That's way more important to me than what's your favorite color and what's your favorite meal.
Yeah. I mean, and that's where the mistake factors come in.
Yeah.
Because you have to learn
Yes.
what you learn from your mistakes on what you need in a relationship. Caleb, what about you? Common dating mistakes. I know you didn't, you didn't been around the mountain a couple of times with dating.
That sounds so bad.
No. I mean,
sounds-
as you age, you're gonna date.
Yeah,
That's
but
just
it almost sounds like you're saying he's been out in the streets.
no. I wouldn't say he has whole activities. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is,
I mean-
he's aged enough to where he's been in relationships, in and out
calling you
of certain
old.
relationships.
Very true.
Yeah, he get it. He know what I
Not
mean.
lying.
I know. I'm just paying attention.
Everything he said is the truth. I guess for the few that I've actually been in, I guess you would say, I guess you gotta evolve during a relationship. Like that's one thing I know. Like it's like not being so closed off
Do you think that's your mistakes in a relationship? You were more closed off. You didn't open up to your partner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's one thing I definitely have learned over the last year, that hey, you can't be in a relationship and still be closed off, because that don't work.
Right.
Know what you want in a relationship. Even you got to know when it's not working for yourself. Don't try and just say what's not working. Don't try and be like, hey, this situation, even though it's not working, I'm gonna still roll with it. See what happened at the end. It's no see what happened at the end. So
It's like I tell my
because it's not an
homeboy.
end. It's never an end to a relationship. If for you to be like, because once you see what happened to the end, it's the end.
The end, right. So like, I tell my homeboy, quit trying to put a square peg in a round hole. Like if you see it doesn't work, walk away. It's okay to walk away.
So that's pretty much it.
No, that makes sense. And I think that's the best way to describe your situation. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that at least you are self-aware.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of us in when having dating mistakes, they're not aware of the person they are. So subconsciously, you're not paying attention to what you're doing to the other person by doing that. Mm-hmm. I say that for me because I think my biggest mistake was not being aware of what my partner needed in certain situations, and I have to take responsibility for that, because if you're not careful, you find yourself not taking care of your partner mentally. Now, I'm not talking about physical. I'm not talking about any of that. You have to feed your partner not only mentally but spiritually as well. But you have to make sure you're engaged enough to understand that your partner needs certain things, and you got to be there for your partner to be able to do that. If you're not taking care of them, you're not protecting them properly, then it's not going to be a well relationship. It's gonna backfire on you because you're just being more selfish, and sometimes it's a subconscious selfishness. What I mean by that is you're not necessarily doing it on purpose, but like you said, you were guarded in your relationship, so you didn't open up. That's just your mechanism because that's what you're used to being. Now, but you're with a partner, you have to, in my personal opinion, of course, you have to make sure you're allowing yourself to open up, to be welcome with your feelings, how you feel, and you have to share that with your partner so the communication can work, so y'all can grow together from that. People that weren't healed, you said that. Like if you're not healed in a situation, you won't open up to a person, y'all can't grow. Right. Because it'll always be a roadblock, because you want to be with that person. You want to open up to that person, but you haven't figured out how to do so. And sometimes in some relationships, if you don't give them that information, they don't know how to love you properly either, because you haven't given them that. Right. You have to share that information. It's important.
To that point, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and he was like, I said something to a lady and she went off the handle. And, he was like, I tried to choose my words carefully, X, Y, Z. And I said, so let me give you a different perspective. I said, because when you are wanting to be in a relationship with somebody, you've kind of got to, like you said, I've got to be more in tune with what you've got going on. Yeah. So immediately, if her response was to get on the defense, and my question to him was, well, did you ask her, is that a trigger for her? Because obviously something's happened in her past, and it's a trigger point for her, and nobody's ever talked to her about it and why it's a trigger. So maybe the conversation is, hey, I noticed that this was your reaction. Did this trigger you? Is there something that I need to know about so that I don't trigger this again for you? And how can I help you work through that? Right. Most people are not willing to have that conversation with other people because, one, they don't even have the capacity themselves to be able to handle it because they haven't handled their own stuff. Right. But most people are quick to say, oh, well, you're just being difficult. Well, let's dig a little deeper into figuring out why that person is being difficult, because there could be an underlying reason why.
Yeah. I think that just comes from growth. Yeah. You got to learn how to be okay with yourself first. If you're not healed internally, you can't spend anything with anybody else because you ain't filled your own cup up. That's just my personal opinion on it. So let's talk about society in the essence. Societal issues, like society is in the social aspect of relationships, have really put a damper on people being in monogamous relationships. Why do y'all think that is? We all know social media is the beast that it is, and it was created, and it's become almost like a Pandora's box for relationships, because once you get in there, it kind of is the catalyst for the destruction of relationships. What are y'all views on that?
Society definitely shapes a lot of what we do and how we respond to things. But I would say most of what I've seen here recently in the dating culture based on the social media piece is there are a lot of, and I can only of course speak from my experience because I only date men. So there are a lot of men who are online saying they're the baddies, they're the prize, or the 50-50 conversation. And it's like, okay, what exactly do you mean 50-50? Are you talking financial aspect or, like, because to me at that point, it sounds like you're not trying to show up fully in the relationship at all if you're only trying to give 50-50 on any level. But there's a lot of that. And then there's a lot of, men and women being put against each other versus trying to help each other and work together to get to where they need to be. So there's a lot of things that, have been put in place. I almost feel like a lot of it goes back to, the yesteryear and how some things got put in place for, like the welfare piece that got put in place and how, men were taken out of the homes in various ways. And then that kind of rolled over into other things. And, now we've snowballed into a lot of single families because now we run into people who haven't healed. And now it's that cycle. Yeah. That continuous cycle.
Yeah. Caleb, what you think?
Don't like it.
Obviously.
That's all I mean.
He said that's all he got.
Not finna. It's I already don't really like social media as it is.
Yeah.
So I don't.
You never been a social media type.
I've never been a social type.
Yeah, that's true. To a degree. I mean, this is the most opening up you probably do, which is needed. So I'm happy you do it. But to your point, no, seriously, because you got to think about it. Like the avenue of people using social media, how to use social media, whether it's just for entertainment or people use it for business, whatever you're using it for, some people, it's for what one positive person using it in the right way is 100 that are probably not using it in that same way. So that's what you up against because you throw yourself in the pit of a relationship with somebody now it's online. And I always say this because and it's the reason why I think people should keep their relationships more private to a degree when it comes to social media, because social media usually isn't the best place for relationships unless it's business related or it's something personal or it's family oriented where you're sharing with your family. My personal opinion, because unhappy people want to see other people unhappy. Like they become the villain. And you may not realize it when you see that because you be sharing your great relationship with people. You're sharing each other, y'all out and having great times, eating great meals, having great experiences, as you should in relationships, right? But here we go. We get those haters, like they want to make a negative comment. They want to put a damper on your happiness because they unhappy, whether it's in relationships or somewhere in their life. It's something that they're not happy about with themselves or their relationships that they want to, you know what? I got to talk bad about this person because my life is not where it should be. And that sucks. But I think the social media is a very, very dangerous place to play that relationship game in because people treat it like a TV show. When you're going through something in your relationship, people pay attention. They want to know what happened. And now you didn't spread all the good news. It's like, okay, what happened to the bad news? What happened? What happened to y'all? What happened? It's like
and that's
like
also what happens when you put everything
you put everything out. You sharing everything, and hear people they want. Like, what happened? Y'all was so happy. Now you want to find out what happened. So you digging, you looking for different clues and different things to find out. Now you playing the detective. Like it shouldn't be like that. Like relationships aren't built on social media. Once they are, they're gonna be destroyed by that same thing it was built by.
It's like the old folks used to say, keep everybody out your business.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, if you like social media, and that's cool, and I hope you do, because that means you're gonna watch our show, and I hope you like subscribe. Please. But if you, in whatever avenue, yeah, please and thank you. But if you don't, just my recommendation is like, if you want to keep something pure, you have to share everything in a relationship, because then you get the privacy and the intimacy that you can have to build with somebody. It deteriorates because now you are letting people in every part of your life. That's why a lot of celebrities always tell you is like, other celebrities are other celebrities because they know the lifestyle, not because they wouldn't date a regular person. A regular person may not understand what it takes to be a celebrity. you know, and that's when I hear a lot of celebrities talk about relationships. That's what they say first. It's not that they wouldn't date somebody that's not a celebrity. They date people that understand them. And it makes
because it's a
sense.
different type of lifestyle.
But that's why you see a lot of people in different professions date each other's doctors, nurses. You know, they understand the lifestyle. So a lot of relationships can be destroyed off lifestyle. And guess what? Social media is a lifestyle. If you're not used to that, your relationship may not survive that. They may not survive it at all. All right, we'll take one more quick break and then we'll come back and we'll close out for you guys. We'll be back in a second. All right, welcome back. We've been talking about relationships, dating and relationships. It's been a good time, good topic. So we're gonna end on a good note. Let's talk about it. Has been absolutely. Let's talk about healthy relationships. You know, we talked about the mistakes, we talked about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's talk about healthy relationship. What a healthy relationship looks like. Let's talk about the importance and the communication boundaries of a healthy relationship. Let's talk about that.
So communication, definitely key. And what I have learned over the years is that everybody communicates differently, right? And so that is where you have to really take time to listen and comprehend what is being said. Because a lot of people can hear what's being said, but not necessarily comprehend it. And then they take it and, run 50 million directions with it. So communication is definitely going to be key in making sure you are listening to understand and you are hearing your partner and you all are coming to a mutual decision on how to handle whatever you have going on, right? The boundary piece, the boundaries that you put in place are for you, not for your partner. Meaning these are boundaries that you're going to put in place to be able to say, this is what I'm willing to accept and what I'm not willing to accept, or what I'm not willing to do and what I'm willing to do and what I'm not going to do that, may jeopardize who I am from my character, standpoint or my standard standpoint. So boundaries are going to be things that I put in place to protect me.
Gotcha.
To ensure that I'm protected and I'm not harming the person that I'm in a relationship with.
Of course. I think that, and those are great points. I think that for me, a healthy relationship looks like when you're communicating. Obviously, the communication is a huge factor in it, but in that communication, it goes a little bit deeper, and I'm gonna go in depth. In conversations, you don't listen to respond. You know what I'm saying? You listen to obtain information, and you don't listen to respond. Because a lot of relationships, when people are listening, even when they're arguing or they're having a general conversation, instead of listening to, like you said, comprehend or intake the information to receive, is like, oh no, not reception. They're listening to defer to go back. It's not a debate.
Right.
And a lot of relationships are treated as such. When you can have a healthy conversation by just using communication, opening up your mind and allowing the information you receive to come in versus trying to ship something back out. Well, you said this. Well, you said that. No. Listen to what that person says. Receive that. Take it in. Let it marinate, and then respond accordingly versus just a quick snap reaction. I think a lot of times in our microwave society, we're so quick to just respond and just say anything, and then you're saying how you feel, but you're not giving yourself time to listen and comprehend what what your partner is saying. We need to learn how to do that in a healthy situation so we can really have foundational elements in a relationship where it's beneficial for everybody. It can't be one-sided.
Right.
It can never be one-sided. And once it's one-sided, someone's going to lose on the deep end. So I think a healthy relationship requires that. That's the foundation. You have to be locked in with somebody to the point where you understand that. Nothing else is going to matter if you can't talk to that person and feel like you're comfortable talking to that person about anything. If you feel like you got to hold anything back from someone, then I don't think that's a healthy foundation to even start a relationship on, period. What you think, Caleb?
I'm awful at it, so.
You're awful at communication?
Yep.
Why do you think you're awful at communication is the question.
It goes back to that whole opening up thing. Yeah, it's about the same.
So,
or it's I've noticed it too. Like I know when it's, hey, like you should say something, or it's I respond late because I'm doing a lot of let me think about this and not say the wrong thing. but it usually seems like it's too late. But I be like, I'm responding, so
So in that instance, when we're talking about communication, if I'm speaking from a woman's perspective, right? And so if y'all had an interaction and you're thinking about things, but you haven't communicated that you're thinking, to her it seems like it's no response.
Right. Yep.
And no response is a response, right? So then simply communicating, hey, I need some time to digest this and think about it, goes a lot further
yeah.
and comes across much better than just not saying anything at all, right?
Yeah,
so
I know that now.
now we're back to it's back to communication.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
It's awful.
but it all
It's one of those like,
But
yeah,
not
but
awful.
being self-aware is more important.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Than not knowing anything. You have something to go off of, right?
yeah.
So in your next opportunity to be in a relationship, whenever you so see fit down the road, you can,
chose those words very
yeah,
wisely.
yeah, you see how I said that? So, like, when you choose that down the road, at least you have something to go off of, and you have something to be able to be vulnerable with when you decide to do so. But the communication is always going to be the key component in that. You know what I'm saying? And that's only speaking from my experience from being a man in relationships and knowing what you want in a relationship. Is like, you got to know what you want first. Because if you decide to go into a relationship and you don't, then you shouldn't be in that relationship. As a man, I think you know what you want, and then go after what you want, and then be the leader you're supposed to be in that relationship. And that's the only way you can really have a real relationship. You have to be who you are and also decide on, hey, what do I need to do to be better? Is this something that's going to make me better, instead of just like using it as a tool of just getting whatever you want in form of manipulation or saying the right things after I listen to what Ashley say. Okay, I'm listening to what she say, so I'm going to do what she says so I can have her. But that's not who you are.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Don't put on the front. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying you do that, but I'm saying I think it'll benefit you because of the person you are moving forward to be in a healthier relationship if that's how you express who you are, because then you give them an opportunity to make a choice on if they want to accept that or not. Yeah.
It's the given a choice thing.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that I want to add to what you just said was, if you know what you want and you get into the situation or the relationship and you find, oh, that's what I thought I wanted, because what I'm looking at now is in line with what I said I wanted, but now this isn't really, it's okay to walk away from that.
Absolutely.
Not stay
Absolutely.
and try to make it, try to
Absolutely.
change that person and all the other things. It's okay to say, I thought this was what I wanted. Not so much. And that doesn't mean that the other person is bad.
Right.
And I think that's what a lot of people think, like, oh, they rejected me, so that means something's wrong with me. No, but that's not what that means.
That's a societal thing.
Yeah.
They use rejection and failure as the same thing. A
And it's
rejection
not,
isn't
yeah.
a failure. It's just something that didn't work. You don't fail at something
That you
you know what I mean,
attempted.
that you're attempting. I don't look at it as a failure. I look at it as something it didn't work. It's not a failure because it's only a failure if you stop. It's only a failure if you stop. So if you're doing something and you decide, hey, that's not working for me, this relationship's not working for me, that relationship, it just didn't work for you. That doesn't mean another relationship won't work for you. That's not failure. To me, I think that's just a stepping stone in life. That's what dating is called. I think people forget that. You're not going to fall in love with everybody. And even if you feel like you think you will, that person, that beautiful person you see, she has a nice body, he has a nice this, that, and the third. That doesn't equate all the time to what your life is. That's not a failure. That's just a miscommunication, a misdirection, or a learning experience that you can use in your next dating experience. Some people, get it right on the first time. I have friends that got together in high school, still together now. You know what I'm saying? It can hit right away. Some people hit the lottery. You know what I'm saying? Some people hit the lottery. Some people don't.
Others have to work harder at it.
And that's okay. But we have to learn how to be able to be okay with that. And that's what makes healthy relationships.
Yep.
But good conversation, y'all. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah,
as
really
usual.
good convo.
Make sure you guys put in the comments, your advice for or your experience for relationships and dating. We can always use those, share with each other, each one teach one. I think that's always very important. I'm J. Cole. That's Ashley and Caleb. We thank y'all for tuning in with us. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.